It's 1965 and you're a black father in Bogalusa, Louisiana. You have 2 kids and a job at a paper mill. And every time you walk home after dark, you wonder if a white mob is going to end your life. The Klan rides in the open, and police don't protect you. And the civil rights movement tells you to be nonviolent. But you have a firearm, and one day you pick it up, not to start a war, but to make sure that you live long enough to see your children grow up. This is the story of the Deacons of Defense and Justice, an armed group of black men who protected civil rights workers and communities from white terror in the Deep South. The Deacons of Defense were born out of necessity, not ideology. The group was actually started in Jonesboro, Louisiana. In 1964, it was founded by 2 World War II veterans, Ernest Chilly Willie Thomas and Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick. They were tired of watching the Klan attack civil rights workers while law enforcement sat around and did nothing or even took part in it. They weren't radicals, they were family men, deacons at their church, business owners, and veterans, and they knew that they wanted to see a change, and the only way to bring about that change was to arm yourself. In 1965, the Deacons of Defense were asked to protect the Congress for Racial Equality, also known as CORE, as black community leaders were trying to integrate schools and other public places. The Deacons armed themselves legally with firearms and said, if the state won't protect us, then we will protect ourselves. They weren't militia, they weren't paramilitary, they were defensive. That's in the name. They patrolled black neighborhoods, they followed civil rights marches to make sure no one got hurt, and they sat outside civil rights leaders' homes all night just to make sure that they would be safe. And it worked. Police knew that if the Klan was attacking someone and they looked the other way, the Deacons of Defense would show up and they wouldn't be carrying signs. They'd be carrying firearms. Violence slowed down. The Deacons had broken one of the oldest rules of Jim Crow. Black people weren't supposed to fight back. But they did, calmly, legally, and publicly. Not everyone was on board 100%. Martin Luther King was on the fence about this because he didn't want it to seem like it was an insurrection, and he didn't want the federal government to get involved in a way that would hurt people. To them, armed protection was dangerous. But to local black residents, specifically people in Bogalusa, Louisiana, they welcomed it. They saw the people that were oppressing them as having no conscience. And how does nonviolence work when the person committing violence against you has no conscience? The Deacons didn't challenge Martin Luther King or any of the establishment at the time. They simply just filled in the gap where the law failed and fell short. And many civil rights leaders admitted privately that they felt safer when they were working with the Deacons of Defense. The Deacons never had more than a few hundred members, but their influence spread outside of Louisiana. There were similar groups in Mississippi, Alabama, and even Chicago. The story of the Deacons of Defense shows us that civil rights resistance never just follows one path. Sometimes it looks like a march, sometimes it looks like a sit-in, and sometimes it looks like a man sitting on his porch with a firearm on his hip, not because he hates his neighbor, because he loves his family. The Deacons weren't trying to start a revolution, they were trying to survive one.